Hi, welcome back to Growing Up Catholic - His Loving Touch. I'm Elaine. I've done something different. My hair is getting longer. It's starting to flip in the back. But I decided to wear makeup today. I put on a foundation and concealer, trying to hide all my imperfections. Put some lipstick on, mascara. Vanity? I don't know. Do you know, should I stay my natural self? Should I just kind of improve myself? I don't know. I don't know. It probably makes a difference. And I did get, like, fix the lighting a little bit with my husband helping. So, I don't know. I just felt that I guess I just wanted to perk myself up. I'm still wearing my gowns. But anyways, that aside, I'd like to talk about our first baby. Dave and I got married on May 5th, 1973. It was a beautiful wedding. Jesus was our foundation. Even on our wedding cake topper was a cross with 2 wedding rings entwined with each other and flowers around it. And, then marriage started. Before we got married, we went through some marriage preparations that can help. It did bring up some questions for us, but most of all, Dave and I had dated for 3.5 years and knew a great deal about each other. But in the Catholic Church at that time, I don't know if it's still the same way, but you did have to attend marriage preparation. And then have your name in the church bulletin 3 times, your names, just in case, right? Somebody knew something. No, we were pretty clean. Really clean. We didn't live with each other. We still lived with our parents. We were virgins because we wanted to save ourselves for marriage. Our choice. We just wanted to start everything off right, and definitely not judging others for other decisions, because that's between them and God. For us, it was the right thing. So we went on our honeymoon, and I was on the birth control pill and forgot to take it just one night, and I got pregnant. But we lost that baby, and because the baby really never formed properly. I was told I could get pregnant right away, which they're not telling nowadays. They tell you to wait 3 months after a miscarriage, or even up to 6 months. So I was told I could get pregnant again, and I did. I never had a problem getting pregnant, and that was a beautiful blessing, because so many today have problems with fertility. And I pray that the desire of your heart for a child comes to pass, and that you do have a beautiful, healthy baby. So I got pregnant again. And, you know, I've told you that God speaks to me. And I felt, you know, God was telling me that I was going to give birth to a son. And I told Dave, and this was before the ultrasounds, right, to tell you what your baby was going to be, what gender. But anyway, didn't matter to us. But, you know, I would find out if that was God's voice when the baby was born. In the meantime, we were living in an apartment, and then decided to buy our first house, which we did. And to celebrate it, we decided to go out to a fancy restaurant and celebrate buying the house, celebrate that I was pregnant again. But as I was coming in to the restaurant, before Dave could open the door for me, it was a big solid door with no window in it. As I was just about to grab the handle, and Dave too, a man came out very quickly, and the door hit me very hard in the abdomen. And, you know, in the front. So, I mean, he apologized. He just said, I'm sorry. And we went into the restaurant, and we're seated at a nice table and decided to just enjoy the meal. But as I was eating, I felt a trickle of water escaping me. I thought maybe, you know, when the door hit me, my bladder was a little bruised and some urine escaped or whatever. I went to the bathroom. It was not urine. And then it just kept, this fluid kept trickling. So that was a Sunday, so on the Monday I called the doctor. I went for a checkup. He said I was losing amniotic fluid that surrounds the baby in the womb, your uterus. And I was put on bed rest for 5 months. I was almost 3 months pregnant. So anyways, so there I did. I stayed in bed and was hooked on soap operas because that was the only thing to really watch. And yeah, I mean, I had to use a bedpan for a while, you know, but I made it. Just actually to our on our wedding anniversary, our first year wedding anniversary. It was such a beautiful day that I did go outside and sit in a chair with Dave and just enjoyed the birds singing and the wind and just the warm breeze. And then a couple days later, or a week later, I lost what they call a mucus plug, right? That it just keeps everything in there. So anyways, I knew that was a sign that I was going to go into labor eventually. And then it took about another, anyways, May 21st, my water broke. And I was 5 weeks early. And my poor husband, he was a basket case. And my mother and mother-in-law, you could tell they were worried, and I was worried. 5 weeks early, I kept thinking, oh, maybe we, got the dates confused, but we didn't. So I went to the hospital, and I went to the hospital probably around 9:30 in the morning, and I was fully dilated for a few hours, but the baby wasn't coming. So they said he was breech. So they called in. Back then, family doctors delivered your babies, but they called in a specialist, and he came, and I wasn't told, but I knew something was wrong, because they took Dave aside and they told him, we can't find a heartbeat. They only had the stethoscope back then, but we can't find a heartbeat. We think the baby's dead, and need to do a C-section. And my family doctor said, can't you just go in and get the baby? And the baby was coming bum first, so they gave me an epidural. And even though I was free of pain, that's not the thing I could think of. It was, because they finally told me they couldn't find a heartbeat. And then I started crying. I didn't really lose it, but, I found out later that my mother-in-law, who had done up the baby's nursery, her and my father-in-law, Dave's parents, had done the nursery, and she was going to go and rip it all apart and make it into a sitting room. So anyways, the doctors finally told me they couldn't hear the heartbeat, and decided that the specialist would just go in and get the baby. And they were pretty sure the baby was dead. So, as on our way to the delivery room, Dave held my hand, and I said, about our baby being dead, and the one thing my husband said to me, said, do you think that God would tell us that we were having a son, only to come to this point and have a dead baby? No, Elaine, trust God. Keep believing. Well, you keep believing, or you try, but you never know God's will in your life. So in the delivery room, the instruments that were used to push the baby back up into the uterus, turn the baby around to come down head first. As they were bringing the baby's head down, I could hear crunches going on, and I just said, well, if this baby isn't dead now, if this baby isn't dead, it is now, because I thought, his bones were being crushed. you think weird things when you're having a baby. Anyway, so that he pulled the head out, and we heard a cry. One little cry. And Dave and I just started crying. Then as he brought the rest of the baby's body out, he didn't cry. And the doctor worked on him, and then finally, after smacking the baby's feet, the baby started crying. And the doctor said, he's a keeper. I guess that's a fisherman's saying. You have a son. Praise God. He looked like he was bruised and battered. I often thought he looked like an Italian boxer, like fighter. His nose was a little sideways. But he was the most beautiful baby I'd ever seen. And we didn't bring him home for 12 days, I think, because he had jaundice. I stayed in the hospital because my bladder was not working. You know, all the parts of having a beautiful baby. All worth it. So, our son Sean David was born May 21st, 1974. A little over a year from our first wedding anniversary. And yeah, that was a miracle. They thought he was dead, but God had other plans. Sean's an amazing man now, in his 40s. Well, we're married 47 years now, so he's going to be 46, May 21st, 2020. So that's the miracle of our first baby, and how God kept his word and built me up, knowing that I heard God speaking to me. And with each pregnancy, God told me what each baby was, because I had 7 pregnancies, 2 miscarriages, 5 children, and with each pregnancy, God told me the gender of each baby, and it was right on. And there are other stories about our children's births, which I will tell. But I think this is long enough. I hope it's not too long. Thank you for watching and listening. Please subscribe to this channel. It only gives you a notification when I post another video, which I will do next week. I'm trying just to do one a week, and that's it. So please comment. I would love to have comments. You can agree with me, disagree with me, as long as we're respectful to each other, which I will be. You know, great. I would love to hear your comments.